everyone. Welcome into another episode of the East Alabama Works video podcast series. I'm Carl Brady, Workforce Program Manager for East Alabama Works, and my guest today is Lorie Denton. Lorie is with the Oxford Schools, Oxford City Board of Education, and we are going to be talking about a brand new education and training program that's coming to Oxford, but is going to serve the entire region for students and adults alike. Lorie, welcome in to the podcast today.
No, thank you guys so much for having me to be able to have another platform to talk about, all the things that are happening very quickly here. To be able to try to help, stabilize our workforce, grow it, pump it up a little bit more, and provide some great employees to our businesses and industries.
That's right. We're still in a position here in East Alabama and throughout the state that we have more open jobs than we have people who are qualified to fill those jobs. So, our goal in workforce development is to make sure people are educated and trained and ready to go into the jobs that are available out there in all kinds of different pathways, from
Absolutely.
manufacturing, construction, uh, whether it be truck driving or heavy equipment operating. There are jobs out there for the taking for the people who are trained and ready to go into those jobs. And that's where you guys are stepping in with a new program called Create. Tell me what Create is and what it stands for, and what the goal is.
Yes. So, create is literally the acronym is so great because as we continue to talk through the project, we keep using the word create, not even realizing that that's the name of our project. But create stands for the Choccolocco Research, Education, Arts, and Technology Experience. And the goal is to be able to provide opportunities to students throughout the region in high wage, high demand career fields, but to train them with industry and business oversight and input so that the students and industries are building those relationships. And we are very close to closing on a building that's going to be home to Create. And so we are doing a little bit of a soft opening or a part one to Create currently with one of the pathways that will be offered at Create, a comprehensive construction pathway that offers training in commercial carpentry, commercial plumbing, and commercial electric. And that's it's part of a grant that we have received. However, it does fall under the Create umbrella, and it's just one of 12 or so pathways that the community will see introduced here in a few weeks that are going to be able to serve students in the area. And in the evening, this Create is committed to providing upskill training for adults and incumbent worker training through our industries. And so we have just jumped in with 2 feet. Our space is not quite ready, so we are going to be utilizing the old lunchroom on the campus of Oxford High School to get these classes started for adults who have an interest in these commercial construction fields, knowing that when they complete these classes successfully, they can test for their NCCER certification and OSHA 10 certification, and our commercial contractors in the area have committed to hiring those who complete this class successfully.
And that's amazing. And to talking about the opportunity for people to upskill, and this is, like you said, just a small part of what Create's going to be about. But since you mentioned it, let's go ahead and talk a little bit. This grant comes from the Construction Industry Craft Training Board,
Yes.
where construction companies, commercial construction companies throughout Alabama, pay
Mhm.
a little extra for their construction permits, and that money
Yes.
goes into a pot that's given out to training facilities throughout the state, because the construction industry realizes that they have to have trained, skilled individuals to keep their business going. As the economy here in Alabama has just really still been going crazy as far as commercial construction goes. And we know that there are a lot of people in the construction industry who are reaching retirement age. And
Absolutely.
there hasn't been, the push of the last couple of decades of college, 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 college has has kind of hurt the skilled trades throughout the state of Alabama. And we're kind of paying that price right now with a lack of people going into skilled trades. So this is just one step in trying to get people reacclimated to working in construction and carpentry, like you mentioned, electrical and plumbing, and try to find a mason anywhere nowadays. Those guys
Absolutely.
are retiring, and there's nobody coming in behind them. So this is an effort by the construction companies in the state to rebuild their potential workforce or their workforce so that they can continue doing the amazing work that they do throughout the state. And you guys are beneficiaries of that by getting a grant to make this happen here in East Alabama.
Well, and it's we're really, when you look at who benefits from this, it's our businesses and our industries, and it's our residents.
Hmm.
We are here to serve our community, and if we have the opportunity to be able to do something that is going to change the quality of life for just one family in this area, because they can, you know, they now are able to provide for their family better because of some upskill training. And it's just those little things that people don't think about. But development here is growing. Everyone loves to complain to me about the traffic at the Oxford Exchange. And I tell everyone all the time, hey, without that traffic, guys, there's no crumble cookie coming. We're not going to be able to sustain, our Sam's, and we're not going to
Right.
keep our Ulta in business. So, keep in mind that traffic is what drives economic development. And with
Hmm.
economic development, you have to have someone who can build the buildings that we're signing contracts on. And, those positions take years, to be a certified electrician, to be
Hmm.
a certified plumber. Those are not things that you can just start work and handle it. Lots of training has to go into that. Our general contractors, obviously, they need skilled carpenters, but they need project managers. They need people who are familiar with start to finish product of construction, what all that takes, and that's lacking also. And,
Hmm.
our businesses and industries, Kronospan's a great example. We love when Kronospan expands. However, we have to make sure that we're giving our commercial contractors what they need to physically build the structures that
Right.
Kronospan needs to do their expansions. And so it is, when you talk to all of our commercial contractors, they'll tell you that they could increase the scope of their projects tenfold if they could hire 10 more people and start training them. And I got that across the board, because I had to speak with each commercial contractor in the area.
Hmm.
I had to get letters of support from them for us to be awarded this grant. And in those letters of support, they had to justify the need. How many people could you hire right now? Where do you see in 5 years, how many people are you going to need to hire? And every one of them, it was 10 or more right now, with 20 or more, as the years continue to progress. Like, they just can't get enough into a feeder program. And they have committed to hiring the ones who complete these classes successfully. So these classes are at no cost to the participants. Everything that they need is supplied by the grant. The instructors all work for local commercial contractors. They are the ones that are coming in to teach. It's 2 nights a week, just a few hours, for 16 weeks. And, it may even end up being a little shorter than that based on how much work they get done, when they
Right.
can take their certification. And then they have they have their pick, of these
Hmm.
industries that are going to take them in now that they have their basic knowledge of that field, and then invest in them. And, everybody has to have skin in the game. It's in any area of industry and business, it's very frustrating for our businesses and industries to hire someone to train them, and a week later they just stop coming to work. The
Right.
companies have invested that time and that money in their training, and this way, people are spending 16 weeks learning in this area, and so they're vested in this, but at the end of the class, and so they know now, hey, I've got this opportunity to work. It gives the construction companies so much more peace of mind bringing on somebody that's already invested that much of their personal time to learn more. So
Yeah.
it is a great opportunity here for our area.
And it really is for people who want to upskill and get into the construction industry. This is not a Saturday afternoon seminar at Lowe's or Home
No,
Depot where you learn how to build a deck. This is real skill being taught that will get you your foot in the door in a career in the construction
absolutely.
industry, and it's at no charge. So
Yeah, it's
I think
great.
that's an amazing program. Well, we could talk for a whole show about just the training programs for construction, but I want to go back to create as a whole in the fact that it's not a replacement of local CTE programs, it's an
Absolutely
enhancement
not.
of CTE programs, and you're working hand in hand with school systems and to enhance what's already being offered to our students.
Absolutely. And when these ideas first came about, we knew that we needed to get everybody on board to be educated about what we were doing to help dispel any myths or rumors. And so, bringing our elected officials on, bringing our mayors on, bringing our industry leaders to the table, our career tech directors, all of our superintendents in the area know that there's it doesn't make sense to duplicate programs that students in our area already have access to. But what does make sense is to offer new programs and then open that up to all students. Guess and Create can't offer everything. There are things that other local career tech academies offer that students who are part of Oxford City Schools would love to take place in. And so we're
Mhm.
looking at, how can we share those seats so that truly, for the first time, superintendents and educators are beginning to see things from a regional approach, where those of us in economic development and workforce and business and industry, we've been looking at things regionally for quite some time now.
Right.
Um, but the school systems have remained in their silos, as that's because that's what they do. And I can't say enough about Dr. Stanley, the superintendent for Oxford City Schools,
Mhm.
because let me tell you, she gets it. She gets the importance. She understands that the students that they are graduating are the product on the shelf for our businesses and industries
Right.
to purchase. And it was her passion to make sure that, she asked everybody, she asked our businesses and industries, how can we put better product on the shelf for everybody? And just those little conversations are what have led to something that you can imagine. Plenty of people thought there's no way we would ever be able to pull something like this off. But you know, I tell people all the time that if you don't support Create, you either don't understand the project or you don't want to see success for the East Alabama region. And
Mhm.
that's just it is a win-win for everyone. But it has taken a lot of work, a lot of thought, a lot of how are we going to do this? And relationships, Carl. If it weren't for all the relationships in place to get things done, we would definitely not be on the cusp of being able to introduce this to the world. As
Abs-
we talk all the time about, there's some other facilities, there's Earth in Sylacauga. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not Create. But even if it were, that's too far away for students in our area to travel. So
right.
what would be amazing to see one day is if you could look at a picture of the state of Alabama and it be full of circles that all touched each other, that all contained some type of center like this, so that every student in the state of Alabama has the opportunity to reach, to drive or to travel to somewhere that will offer a multitude of different career pathways at no cost.
Mhm. I always like to mention when we have these conversations as well, where you're not in any way discounting that 4-year college education that parents are still pushing their kids into, but
Absolutely.
even kids who that is their chosen pathway need some skills at times to do things differently. And I in my 30 odd years of being in radio and television, I can't tell you how many times I took a college graduate, hired a college graduate with a degree in broadcasting, and said, okay, now forget everything you've just spent all that money on.
Absolutely.
Now we're gonna teach you how we really do it. And and that's what's happening in industry a lot. And industry is saying, we need a workforce that knows how to do something.
Mhm.
And so that's where these kind of things come in, but they're complementary to education. They're not a substitute for education. Many of the courses that you're going to be teaching in pathways, can you have that choice? You can go to work, or you can,
Absolutely.
especially in the construction industry, it comes to mind. I'm more familiar with that. So in the construction industry, you take construction programs, you learn the construction programs. And if you have the mindset of wanting to go to a 4-year school, then you go to Auburn and learn how to be
Absolutely.
a foreman and and on all the higher things that construction people can do. And
And
it's
even
so
better, if you're working for a commercial construction company already and you are a hard worker and you're vested and that you have demonstrated your ability and your commitment, chances are they're going to pay for your education
that's
to go
right.
on
That's
and get
right.
that 2-year or 4-year degree. And that is what is truly amazing about Create. Every pathway, every opportunity, the students, all students can go ahead and go straight to work in any of the fields, but they also can choose to continue that education journey on as far as they want to take it.
That's right. That's right.
And I think there's a lot of value to working for a little bit before you go ahead and go on off to college, because sometimes you may decide that you want to do some different things, and there may be jobs still that you don't know about.
Yeah.
um I didn't know economic development existed till I was in my
Until
early
you did
30s,
it.
and it's been, it's been just amazing. Sometimes I can't believe that this is actually a job field, because it's wonderful. But again, we don't know what we don't know, and it's our job to make sure that we are getting all of that out there to the region about the career opportunities that we do have here locally, and not just tell them about them, but provide them ways to get involved and get skilled and go to work in those.
Now, you're going to have your first high school students starting in August. When school starts in August, what are the first curriculums and pathways you're going to be starting with? And then talk about what your plans are for the future, because this conversation is going so well. We only have about 10 more minutes already to talk.
Well, and Carl, you're getting into all my surprises, but it's just, this is just the work that's happening. And do we have it all figured out? No. If we waited till everybody had everything all figured out, we would never help a student. We'd be here
Right.
in 10 years still trying to figure it out. And that is just, you know, my personality well, and I'm not going to sit around and just meet about something. We're just going to start doing it and just, adjust as we need to. So, we do currently have some existing pathways at Oxford that are going to move on down to Create, and that's like our engineering and green power and robotics, our modern manufacturing, which we just opened,
Hmm.
in one of the older buildings at the high school a year ago, and so that's just an easy, you just pick up and move. But you know, it's just crazy because we're gonna move them down there. We're gonna start it out with our students that are already enrolled in those at Oxford, and learn as we go. Year 2, we'll open up to other school systems, and they're working on that scheduling where you've got your industrial maintenance on your electrical side and on your mechanical side and your transportation, your logistics, gosh, I know I told you a million of these pathways earlier. Your
Aviation
distribution,
and
now aviation's coming up in year 3, but
yeah.
we're looking at we've got the opportunity right now for some major STEM grants. And so your STEM, your innovation, your technology, all of that will be held in Create. Cybersecurity is another up and coming field that falls under that criminal justice pathway. Just your general manufacturing covers so many scopes. And again, these are things that are being built out by our industry. Marty Livingston is the career tech director for Oxford High School, and he and I have worked gracious for many years with a lot of dreams. And Lisa Morales has been there dreaming with us about, just ways to fill these businesses and industries at the same time, giving that same care to the students and letting their aptitude and their interests meet, and then finding ways to connect them to what that looks like for them to have a successful future. And to see these pieces coming together, it's really awesome.
It is, and it takes a lot of people to pull all these things together, and getting identifying where the funding can come from, asking for the funding, and convincing the people who are involved that the project is important and worthwhile. And you guys have done a good job
I
of
have
pulling
learned to
together all the
ask.
partners.
I will ask for, there is no ask too great for me to make now. And when I first started doing this, I thought, the one thing I've always loved about my job is I've never had to ask anybody for money. And now I'm not asking for a little money. I'm asking for a lot of money.
Right.
And so, what I've learned is ask for a really, really crazy amount, and then they'll come back with something that you would have never dreamed,
Right, right.
But again, it's just having those relationships in place and leveraging those to be able to get this done, and everybody is on board. I mean, they just are. But wow, it is a collaborative effort by a whole lot of people who have also wanted to see this, done. But it was just time that somebody decided, like, we're going to take ownership of this and figure it out.
Mhm.
And so again, without Dr. Stanley's leadership, you know, our side of it, we can plan and set up and come up with all these extravagant ideas all day long. But if you don't have the students, it doesn't matter. And so I just feel like this has been the piece that we've been missing. Carl, your passion for workforce development is the same as mine. We could talk this stuff all day long.
Right.
But just the shift that we have seen since having Dr. Stanley come on board in this area, and her passion to make sure that we get these things done, it is something that I am eternally grateful for. And our area really has no idea what a great job she's doing.
And I also wanted to mention the local industries of all different pathways are on board with this, which is going to create what we call in workforce development as work-based learning
Yeah.
opportunities. It used to be called co-op back when I
It
was in
did.
school.
That's what we used to call it, right? Now there's
Yeah.
fancy words for everything in education. Let me go ahead and say they have a whole new dictionary of words. But yeah, a
That's
co-op,
right.
what we know.
Yeah, well, we called it co-op, but they're work-based learning, and it's co-op on steroids. But there will be opportunities there as well for students to not just learn the skills while they're in the classroom setting and in the lab setting, but then put those skills to work while they're still students by working on the weekends, or working in the afternoons or something like that.
Yeah.
And just amazing opportunities for students to get their foot in the door for their career early.
Well, like I said, everybody has had to give up something. Everybody's had to put skin in the game. And that's our industries and businesses as well. And, I can't thank them enough, just for trusting in what we are asking.
Hmm.
I've always tried to be just extremely overprotective about, my relationships with our manufacturing industries and, never wanting to ask them for anything that truly was not going to benefit them. And that has paid off because this is a big jump, but
Yeah.
again, if you're willing to put the skin in the game, your business and industry is definitely going to benefit from it. And we anticipate, obviously once things get up and running and everybody kind of sees, the ones who haven't been involved from the beginning,
Hmm.
um everyone at some point will step on board, and we know that this is very different for other schools. And it's okay for other school systems to say, well, we're going to watch for a minute. That's fine.
Yeah.
There's no timeline that you have to decide if you're going to do this. That's silly. I mean, it's open, for, if you want your students to have these opportunities, if you're in it for the right reasons, man, you
Yeah.
got to find a way to do it, because otherwise it makes you think, well, are you really trying to serve every student and what fits best for them, because again, this is just, it's one of those things that our region has been so desperate for this. And,
Mhm.
I told somebody the other day, I come at this from not just an avenue of giving students opportunities to build a successful career. But also, from an economic development standpoint and a population retention standpoint, Calhoun County is losing population. Every time the census comes out, we continue to lose population. And so this is a way to try to help sustain our population. And, imagine you hear of students whose families move to different schools across the state because of their athletics program, to give them
Right.
access to their athletics program. Some of the things that we will be able to offer here when they are up and running, I absolutely envision families moving here so that their students have an opportunity to go through an aviation pathway in high school at no cost to
Hmm.
them, and still under the economic development umbrella from your industry recruitment and industry sustainability piece. Anytime Commerce sends Don Hopper an RFI for a new project, um, that project automatically expects you to give them the land. They automatically expect you to give them the tax abatements and all the incentives. And they expect you to have workforce development issues because everyone does. They want to know, well, what are you doing to mitigate your workforce development
Right.
issue? And when you can show them create, there's no way we can't win.
Yeah.
So this is
What?
just one of those, it touches every arm of economic development.
Absolutely. And in empowering the workforce, helping people upskill, better their situation in life with their families, it betters the community, and it just has a whole trickle down kind of thing.
It is.
People who are making more money, and they take better care of their property, and take better care of the community, and there's more tax
Absolutely.
money that can be spent on better roads and trash upkeep
It
and things like that.
it's
So
a snowball
it
effect.
just snowballs and all works together. Well, do you
Yep.
have a website set up yet? How do people get more information about what you
No,
guys are
so
doing?
so that, again, we're going along as we do. And so we have a marketing case team for this group, and that's one of the things that they're working with, is getting websites set up. We're in the middle of getting your legitimate Meta business accounts set up for social
Mhm.
media. And again, all that will come in the near future. It's crazy, just all of the different things that have to be done, and you just have to tackle one at a time. And but yeah, they're working on domains, and
Mhm.
getting, the infrastructure and stuff where we're going is in great shape. But, there's a lot of work still to be done, but it will be done in the next few months. It's again, it's the fastest project that I've ever worked on, but it's worth it. So, but these commercial construction classes, we're starting those in February, just a few weeks. We originally had 45 seats. The demand has been overwhelming. So, we've been able to secure 3 more instructors. And so that opens up 45 more seats. So now we'll be able to offer 90 seats for this commercial construction class, whichever pathway that the
Mhm.
participant chooses, to go into. And so, it's a start, and it's happening. So
It
there's
is, and
plenty more to come. And again, when we close on the building that Create will move into, we're very close to that. And so once we close on that building, we're very excited, to have a press conference with, of course, all of our media friends and everybody that has put work into the project up until this point, to be able to announce the full scope of this project, publicly, to the
Mhm.
general public, because they haven't heard about all of the things that Create is going to hold. I've started going around speaking, to the different civic clubs and things like that, because we are getting so much closer. And every time I talk about it, it's just like I can't believe that this is actually we're making it a reality. So it's pretty humbling and really awesome to get to be part of it.
So there's so much more to come, and people are just are going to be hearing a whole lot about Create starting very soon.
Absolutely.
This is just the
Yes.
beginning.
Create will become, another household name, just like the exchange. I could say, did I mention we're going to put it right in the middle of the Target parking lot? So, to try to see if we can boost some more traffic or something out there,
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
It's
Well,
not
Lorie,
going in
thank you.
there.
Yeah, it's not going to go in the Target
Not
parking
going
lot.
there.
Yeah. So, Lorie, thank you for taking the time to talk with us about Create
Absolutely.
today. It's an amazing project. I think it's going to be a huge added value to the community, and I can't wait to see what all you guys come up with as it gets launched and gets a parking lot full of cars and a building full of students.
That's the goal. It's going to be great. So again, just I appreciate everything that you do and your passion that you have in workforce development for the area, because it takes those of us who understand it's not a light switch problem that can be flipped
Hmm.
on and fixed. You have to dig your heels in and be prepared for a lot of years and not seeing a lot of tangible results for a long time. To keep doing the work every day, knowing that it really does make a difference, even when we can't see it. And then to get
That's
on the
right.
cusp of something like this, because without all the seeds that have been planted and the work that's been done beforehand, we would not be in any shape or form to be able to do this. So thank you for everything that you do, and all of your team at East Alabama Works.
Well, thank you, Lorie. And folks, we thank you for tuning in and watching our video podcast series today. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again next time.